brought to you by EB Games. I'm your host, Victor Lucas, with my pals Scott Jones and Marissa Roberto, and we are part of the team that brings you the latest and everything cool every single day. We're doing something completely different today, aren't we, Scott?
Well, I don't know where we are. I thought we were going to a Marriott for the tofu buffet, and I have a massage scheduled for 2:15. Okay,
No, we're in the great outdoors because we know that even though summer is almost over, there is still time for one last camping trip.
That's right. And as three people that are never more than arm's reach away from thousands of years of entertainment, we thought we'd give you some suggestions for what to pack with your portable devices and tablet.
In fact, no one has a 3DS that's more powered up than Victor Lucas. Right, Victor?
That's right. I love bringing the 3DS everywhere with me, and the secret to keeping your 3DS powered up is to turn it off when you're not using it, pro tip. And you also want if you're going camping, a big SD card. I have a big SD card.
You're always bragging about this SD card.
I have, it's a large one,
All right.
so I don't lose any of those little tiny cartridges. Now, my 5 games that I would pack along to play while camping would start with Box Boy. Now, this is a game developed by HAL Laboratories. Now, this is a really charming game. It's all black and white. You play a little tiny box-like creation named QB, and the thing is that he can build boxes outside of himself. It's a very easy game. It's very charming. It's very minimalist. It does get incredibly difficult, and I love puzzle platformers like this on the run.
Yeah, well, Scott and I know all about this game. We took a look at it a little while ago, and I was so pleased to play it. I'm glad that you're jumping into it, too.
Awesome game. Another one I'm definitely playing is Streets of Rage 2 3D. This is another Sega fantastic interpretation of a classic done in 3D. Love these games. Stretch Mo, which is the third in the Mo franchise. This time you can pull the blocks out and try to solve and save all of the little critters that are up on top of these things. They also have a really cool NES mode in there. I'm playing Harmonite, which is this interesting game from Game Freak where you've got a rhythm-based mechanic as part of the platforming. And I'm also playing more Codename Steam, which is a very weird real-time strategy game where you've got Abraham Lincoln and Queen Victoria, and it's so weird and quirky, and they've updated it and improved it. Very fun game. So those are my picks.
Great picks, as usual, Victor Lucas. These are games from me for the Nintendo 3DS that I would play in a Marriott after the buffet.
So not in a campground.
And before I go to the gym at night, because I like the elliptical. But listen, I would start with a game from our old friend Suda51. It's called Flower, Sun, and Rain. Very few people have played this game. It's a PS2 game, originally been ported to the Nintendo 3DS. I think they did a great job with the port. Lots of reading in this game. A very consuming storyline. Very interesting characters, as in all of Suda51's games. Definitely check this out if you haven't. Of course, I can't go anywhere these days without The Legend of Zelda, A Link Between Worlds. This is one of the greatest Zeldas of all time, and it's a terrific portable Zelda. I'm going to play it again and again, and then probably again. The last game I want to talk about here is a classic going all the way back to 2006. This is a game called Retro Game Challenge, and you need to go through and play each of these games, which have been broken up into these 4 little challenges. And it's super fun, a great homage to arcade history, a great homage to game playing history.
Yeah, they're not the actual arcade games, but they're close approximations. Excellent choices, buddy. What do you have, Marissa?
Well, my friends, let's talk more about puzzles, shall we?
Okay.
Because Puzzles and Dragons is so much fun. I've been playing this thing all summer long. It's the only thing I want to play when I open my 3DS. I love this thing because it's so
That's what addiction
easy.
looks like.
It really is. It's so easy to get into. And yes, it looks like one of those match 3s. I get it, blah, blah, blah. But there's a separate side to this. Not only can you just jump in casually and play with all the Mario characters if you want to, you have this whole adventure side too with the OG Puzzles and Dragons Z.
Right.
So much fun to jump into, just have that kind of adventure so you can dive in a little deeper.
One of the
camping.
few times where we saw free-to-play translate really well to something that you would actually spend money on and get addicted to.
Exactly, but not a lot of money. This thing is around $35, which isn't that bad.
For a cartridge published from Nintendo, that's not too bad.
Pretty good. When Mario's in something, I'm willing to pay that much money. Let's talk about my other loves on the 3DS, shall we? Everybody knows what I'm gonna say. Animal Crossing, of course. Animal Crossing New Leaf, I mean, I know it came out a long time ago, but it's still something that you can jump into and play and keep up with your town. I know a lot of you have left this game alone for a while, so did I. It's okay, don't feel bad about it. Thanks, Scott, that's really great. I know we need that for camping, but you know what? You also need Animal Crossing for camping as well, because I feel like you're in the woods a little bit with Animal Crossing, even though you have this little town, you're shaking all these trees. Kind of makes me feel like shaking the trees out here to see if any bells pop out.
No, very good, very good. Any others?
I do have one more. It's one that you and I reviewed a while ago,
Yeah.
actually. It's called Tomodachi Life.
Very weird game.
It is very weird. It is a little Animal Crossing-esque, but less so because you're really constrained to the one little apartment in the little city,
Yeah.
the little tiny city, that you can actually add people that you know. You can make them look like your friends,
Yep.
add them in there, couple up some people if you want to, see if they like you, start a relationship, get married in one day. It's pretty sweet.
Very good ideas.
Yeah,
Now, do you
yeah,
need
fun.
Wi-Fi for Animal Crossing?
No.
Or, so you can just download it. And that's the thing, too, right? If you have the big SD card,
All right.
ladies.
Guys, they have Wi-Fi at the Marriott.
They do have Wi-Fi. Well, you can download everything from the eShop and have it all right there, and bam, you're good as gold.
A very important gadget to bring with you along when you're camping, especially if you want to keep a signal for those camping flavored Instagrams, would be, this is my favorite thing in the world, the apple juice by photojojo.com. The 100% energy apple juice power pack is filled with 2 to 3 full phone servings of phone juice and will run you about $40. Just don't forget to charge it the night before you leave for your trip. If you're going camping, that means you're going to be making memories, so you better start planning that scrapbook. A couple of Polaroids to get the ball rolling, plus shoving a camera in the face of someone you love is a great way to bond. Just remember that every camping photo is a good camping photo, like making a fire, jumping into the lake, or squatting at peeps in the woods. I like those ones the best.
Stick around. We've got more ideas for you. We've got some movies for you when we come back. The assignment was pick 3 comic books or books you're going to read while you're camping. I've got my 3, starting with Star Wars, because this is the year of Star Wars. Marvel took back the reins. They've had a hugely successful run now with the Star Wars comic books. There's the Star Wars line. You can get Darth Vader lines. There's a Lando Calrissian line. There's Princess Leia stories. I just want to start with the Star Wars comics. I haven't read them yet, full disclosure. But they look incredible. John Cassidy is doing the artwork, almost like a liftoff from the original 1977 Star Wars. It's like they reinterpreting how they would go forward with the sequel. And of course, there's going to be lots of little hints and allusions in this storytelling that we're going to see come to fruition in The Force Awakens. So I am dying to jump into these comics. A book that I want to read, and I don't have a lot of time to read novels. This is a novel written by Peter Singer and August Cole. Now, we've had Peter Singer in our shows before. He was also a guy that we interviewed for the making of Metal Gear Solid 4. He's a technologist and a guy that really understands technology in the military culture. Now, he and his partner August Cole wrote a book about the potential for a World War III in the future. So it's kind of like a sci-fi Tom Clancy novel, and I've heard amazing things about Ghost Fleet, and that's definitely on my to-read list. And another comic series that I definitely want to jump back into, I've read up to the Court of Owls with Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo in the Batman line, but I want to jump back in and get right caught up because I'm a huge fan of Scott Snyder. He's an awesome Batman writer, and I want to read all of those new books.
Nice choices there, Victor Lucas.
Thank you.
But it's not just tech and gadgets and games that are keeping us entertained and comics. It's also nice to curl up with someone you love under the starry night sky and watch a flick.
That's right. Nothing better than camping with some movies that you really dig. Scott Jones, what are you going to bring when we go
Vic,
camping?
If you are willing to curl up with me back at the Marriott, we can watch The Edge starring Alec Baldwin. This is
Movie about the outdoors.
The movie about the outdoors, which is the only bit of outdoors that I'm really okay with. It stars a huge bear.
Yeah.
He's beautiful, but he's very dangerous. A very young Elle McPherson is in this movie.
Right.
She's quite fetching. This whole thing was directed by David Mamet. Perhaps you've heard of him.
Yeah.
It's a terrific movie. You can find it almost anywhere. I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
The next movie I'd like to recommend to you if you're going camping is High Fidelity. It stars John Cusack and his sister Joan. Jack Black is in there, yes.
A lot of fourth wall breaking.
Well, I know, save it for your own movies. I'm going to talk about this one movie. It's about a guy who loves records, and he owns a record shop. He's kind of become a loser. This is a story I could relate to, you know what I mean? And the last movie I'd like to talk about is one that I've been holding my breath, waiting to talk about on the show. It's called Grandma's Boy. This is from Happy Madison. This is Adam Sandler's company. This is about a guy who's in his middle age, and he goes to live with 3 older ladies, and he makes video games for a living. If you thought Pixels was interesting, you've got to see this movie. This is one of the best, maybe the best video game movie ever made. And there's also some great laughs, and there's a monkey who drives a car.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the best movie ever, but it did.
Oh, it's very good.
It did handle the video game stuff pretty well, didn't it?
Have you seen it?
I have seen it, yeah.
Did we see it together?
I don't know.
Well, we could.
Under a starry night sky?
Yeah, at the Marriott.
Maybe.
I'll see you there.
All right. Marissa, what movies would you bring camping with you?
Well, gentlemen, I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm having an SOR, and if you don't know what that is,
What's happening?
it's a summer of red.
Oh, okay.
So, started.
Okay.
No, it started out with Ant-Man, of course, who went to the theaters for that. But since I'm continuing my
and you
summer
bootlegged an early copy, is that what?
with red, no, not at all. I did not do that. I would never do that. I'm actually thinking back on my childhood and my high school days, and the first time I fell in love with Paul Rudd, and that was in a movie called Clueless. It taught me so much about what it's like to be a teenager in Beverly Hills, and how to just be kind to other people, even though maybe you don't have it all together yourself, and maybe Paul Rudd could be the man of your dreams one day. And guess what? He is.
You know what? That movie was really good.
That movie is good.
And he was really good in that movie.
He was very good in that movie.
I will give you that one, yes.
Thank you very much.
Let's continue on
Alicia
your SOR.
Silverstone, a little Stacey Dash.
Yep.
It's one of my favorites, all-time favorites. Now let's move it right along to Wet Hot American Summer.
Okay.
Paul Rudd is amazing in this one as well. Also a younger Paul Rudd, 15 years younger.
Right.
Still into it. This one is just all about summer camp and just the fun things that happen there. A lot of mishaps as well. It doesn't really make much sense when you watch it. It's a little crazy.
Yeah.
It's one of those
Appropriate for the woods.
A little, yeah. It's very
At the Marriott,
appropriate
it makes sense.
for the woods. And if you're at the Marriott, it makes sense. I just had a great time with this movie, and I love that it's popular again.
What? What? Nothing. What?
Nothing.
Well, listen, you two perverts.
All right,
we
what's
need
up?
to move on to Victor Lucas.
Yeah.
What are your choices if you want to be at the Marriott underneath a very warm comforter and have a massage at 7:15 in the morning?
The assignment was 3 movies you would go camping with. I picked a couple that are outdoors, not unlike The Edge. The first one is The Gray. This was the Liam Neeson movie.
Oh,
A very, very hardcore movie.
Wolves are dangerous.
Wolves are dangerous.
Very cold.
He gets into a wolf fight with bottles and stuff in his hands, and Frank Grillo's in there, who is now Crossbones in the Marvel movies. Lots of great actors, lots of great sequences, and it's a much more thoughtful, pensive film than you think it is going to be. I love that movie. Kingsman, which is another collaboration between Mark Millar and Matthew Vaughn. They brought us Kick-Ass. This is a comic book turned super spy movie with a lot of edge, a lot of grit, a lot of violence. The craziest fight scene in a church you've ever seen with Colin Firth, who is fantastic in this thing.
So insane.
It's so insane. You can't believe your eyes when you're watching it. I love that movie, and I also really dug, and I know this is a bit cheesy and schmaltzy, but The Secret Life of Walter Mitty starring Ben Stiller, which really has a great message about living an adventure in your life and not being afraid of your own potential.
Yeah.
And I like the cameos. Kristen Wiig is great, and Sean Penn was so badass in that movie too. So those are my choices.
Great choices, Vic. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.
No, we've got a lot more show for you. In fact, when we come back, we're going to talk about some of our favorite TV shows to bring out camping with you.
You spent your whole life thinking there are rules. There aren't.
Comic-Con is behind us, but I did clean up on some DC sweetness while I was there. Look at this. Look at all this Robin action. That's what is going to happen in the hammock with me. It's going to be me and Robin away from the campfire because I don't want anything to happen to these babies. I'm also keeping these away from the dock as well. No water will touch these. Robin is all mine. I love Amy Poehler because she's smart, funny, and totes adorbs. She's a woman using her creativity to get what she wants, and I want to hear her roar and say, yes, please.
Now, if you know me, you know the gadgets that I'm going to be taking on my camping trip. Step 1 would be the iPad. It's such a versatile piece of equipment, specifically the iPad Air. Super light, so it can fit into my satchel, and I can watch movies on it, and I can read my comic books on it, read books on it, play games on it. Now, if I'm talking about playing games, I'm also going to want to bring my Moga Rebel controller. This allows me to play great arcade-like experiences like Geometry Wars. I can also jump into the original BioShock and play that on the iPad. Knights of the Old Republic, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. It's incredible that you get these console-like experiences on the iPad. But probably the most important gadget that I'm going to pack around with me is the Fuji X100T. This is my camera that I carry with me every single day, and it's something I'm still learning on, but I love getting, really, really sharp colors and beautiful, crisp images. I really feel an affinity to this camera, and it makes me want to become a better photographer. I love this thing. Now we've come to the awkward part of the program.
Oh, where we're all sitting in a tent uncomfortably?
Look at this man's face. It's unbelievable. He has no idea where he is right now. We have come to the part of our program where we recommend all kinds of other awesome TV programs that you want to take with you on the last camping trip of the summer.
Yes, but one of the rules we had here that I tried to break several times, the no streaming rule. We don't have Wi-Fi. We got to cut the Netflix cord.
Got to do it.
So we have to make sure that we have enough space on whatever it is that we're downloading onto, or you got to bring a laptop and a disc with you to watch these things. So, got what would make you happy? What television show would make you happy?
Well, the Marriott is not far from here. That would make me happy. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. But listen, I want to start with a show that I don't think enough people watch. I know that there's going to be a season 2 now, which excites me a lot. I'm talking, of course, about Fargo with Billy Bob Thornton. It was a terrific show, a great mystery, a great sense of place, great acting, great writing, great direction. I cannot believe they turned this premise of a great film into a TV show, and now we're getting another season, and my fingers are crossed.
You spent your whole life thinking there are rules. There aren't.
The other thing that I'm bringing into the woods, of course, and I recommend this for anybody out there who's a little heartbroken by season 5 of Game of Thrones, go back to season 3. It's the best, most gut-wrenching season of television I have ever watched in my life. I'm still kind of healing and recovering from that season 3. Man, the Red Wedding. Ooh!
It's so good. And you can watch any of those old seasons of Game of Thrones while you're camping.
Stay fuck!
Marissa, do you have a bunch of Paul Rudd TV shows you want to tell us about?
I don't have any Paul Rudd TV shows because we can't stream, or else I would.
You would, right, yeah.
But can't do that, so that's fine. I'm leaving Rudd out of this one. We need to talk about Outlander because this is a great show produced by Ronald D. Moore.
Shot in the woods.
Shot in the woods, and I think it's very appropriate here. There's a lot of romance for sure, but there's a little bit of sci-fi in there too, which is very interesting. I love the characters, and if you hold out until a little deeper into the season, you got a lovemaking scene that is on point.
Yeah, there are lots of sex scenes in that show. Good suggestion. Good show.
Let me write that down. That's actually that's a very good suggestion.
I wasn't supposed to be here.
Another show that's a little bit scary, but also reminds me to maybe take refuge in the woods would be The Walking Dead.
Oh, that's a great. That's like a campfire show almost, right? It's like ghost stories you would tell around a campfire. You're going to be scared out of your mind on a camping trip.
So you want to be with someone that you could survive the zombie apocalypse with,
right?
Because I feel like you're preparing while you're watching a show.
You guys know where you're really safe is the Marriott.
You're
safe there. The zombies cannot get in. They don't have cars.
If we know anything and learn anything about The Walking Dead, it's just that you're safer in the woods where you can hide.
Okay, all right. I'm picking a couple of sci-fi and one little bit weird one. It's called Parenthood, which has probably never been talked about on EP before. And it's about families and it's about raising kids. And I never watched it, and I found the DVD collection of all of the seasons, and now I am a parent, so now I want to watch Parenthood.
Aww.
The sci-fi geek in me, though, is embarrassed to say I haven't watched a single episode of Orphan Black, and I've heard nothing but incredible things about this show, with unbelievable stunts and a very cool, dark sci-fi clone kind of vibe about it. So I am absolutely going to pack my hard drive filled with Orphan Black episodes, as well as a new show called Humans, which is on AMC, which is a co-production with Channel 4 in the UK. Now, this is about robots integrating with humanity. It's kind of, I think a little bit of a message around our dystopian or potentially utopian future as we all cohabitate with robotic caricatures. Stick around, we are not done. We've got more suggestions and the Twitter question of the day when we come back. If you want more EP, go to our website, epn.tv, for bonus content and full episodes. We're also on Facebook and Twitter.
Everybody, no matter where I go, I always bring something to read, especially when I go into the woods. It's so boring in the woods. So if you have these books in particular, you're going to enjoy yourself. Now, Vic might call these comic books. Me, I'm a sophisticate, so of course I call them graphic novels. Duh. This one is called The Best American Comics 2014. And what this is, it's a compilation of all the great stuff from the previous year. This is edited this year in particular by the great Scott McCloud. If you don't know who he is or his work, you should look him up, definitely. There's some really terrific, stunning stuff over the course of the book here. In fact, there's a huge section of the book devoted to Chris Ware and his great artwork and his great stories. And of course, the other book that I'm bringing with me is called Can't We Talk About Something More Pleasant? This is from my old friend Roz Chast. It's about her relationship with her aging parents. It's one of the most moving, most profound things I've ever read. I think the artwork is also very interesting. So if you're looking for something to do on a camping trip this summer, can't go wrong with these two.
Nice suggestions there, my friend. Always good reading ideas. Now it's time for our Twitter question of the day. This one's from Christian Tessier at Chrysalis Star. For everyone, who is your in-game spirit animal and why? Good question. Also, thank you for spreading the gaming love for so long. Thank you for watching for so long. I'm going to go first. Yeah, bat.
Surprise,
Yep.
surprise.
Another great one.
Victor Lucas.
Yep.
Lucas, great
I'm
one.
gonna go outside the box here. I'm gonna say raccoon. After my good friend Tom Nook, I like his sense of business savvy. He's very good at taking from the villages around him and building up his empire.
All right.
For me, I really like dinosaurs with huge noses and good attitudes. So I'm going to go with Yoshi. He's one of the greatest characters in all of video games, and you can ride him too.
Yeah.
And when I jump into the air, I make an egg out my backside.
Oh, okay. All right. Good question. And if you've got one for us, you want to get caught up on full episodes, hit up our website, epn.tv.
And coming up in tomorrow's episode, we take a closer look at the Mega Man Legacy Collection. You're not going to want to miss it. Thanks for watching, everybody.
We'll see you tomorrow.
EP would like to thank its sponsors, Nintendo, Xbox. EP's mobile coverage is brought to you by Gameloft, makers of Asphalt 8 Airborne, which you can play on your Android or iOS device for free right now.